You can't even see my screen at all, hopefully.
Alright. So where's that t-shirt out? It's a 30-second delay.
Good enough.
Actually, guys, I got you unmuted there, so we'll just leave you unmuted here. This is part of our warm-up period. I don't know if you can hear the music or not, but there's music playing and a screen going in. Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen. I can't hear the music, sadly.
Okay.
But I can hear you.
Okay, that's fine. That's normal. Finally, something normal.
Haha, good start, right?
I can't hear Craig at all. Can you hear Craig?
When he talks, I don't know if he's talking right now.
Hear me, Rex?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm just watching the video at the same time.
Happiness is not a destination, it's a way of life.
Dude, I walked across that bridge. Vegas.
Vegas. Where's my calls, Vegas? My calls. What's up, Ronnie? No, we're not. Probably really slow.
So you know we're not muted there.
Oh, yeah. Just chilling. I don't think you're muted, bro. I don't think you're muted. When you talk, I can hear you. I definitely think that was a water bottle at first.
Live from the Man Cave Studios in South Parkersburg, West Virginia. This is Robert's Report, your leader in combat sports and rock music. And now, your host of Robert's Report, Craig Vegas Roberts.
Good Sunday evening, everybody. Welcome to Robert's Report. Craig Roberts. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday evening. It's we got some light outside still, and I've got an echo on my side because I have my volume up on my laptop. There, now it's gone away. But how's everybody going or doing this evening? Hope everybody is practicing their social distancing correctly, and hopefully we can get over this virus a lot quicker. Just a few announcements here. Of course, we got a couple special guests here pretty soon. I'll announce them here in just a minute. I got a couple news items here to go over. First of all, in the world of rock, we've got Post Malone and Machine Gun Kelly getting together to do a beer pong tournament to support the COVID-19 thing. So they're going to raise money for the COVID-19. Another thing we got going on, let's see, some new music. In This Moment's got some new music coming up. Parkway Drive, Pearl Jam, Tesla has some new music coming up. I'm looking forward to that. I'm a big Tesla fan. And we're still looking out for that AC/DC album. I think this might end up being maybe what used to be the Tool album. Everybody was always wondering when Tool was going to come out with another album. Well, AC/DC's been saying they were going to come out with a new album now for at least a year, so we look forward to that whenever that comes out. Another one we're surprised about is Corey Taylor without Slipknot. Corey Taylor is coming out with an album, which is pretty cool. See, we got Avatar, Bring Me the Horizon. Oh yeah, this whole COVID-19 thing, of course, has put a hurting in some of the rock groups' pocketbooks. So anything you can do to go out there and support the rock groups, check out their live feeds that they have going on. In some cases, they have a place where you can donate money. I know this past week that Adelita's Way on their page, they did some live shows on there, and there's been a number of other artists, which I give them A for effort for getting out there and finding different ways to entertain us from during this whole coronavirus thing going on. So go out there and check out some of your favorite artists and see if they're doing a live feed on their page and support them. Then, of course, in other music, we have some sad news. I guess Rolling Stone is reporting it that Joe Diffie apparently was last week was diagnosed or whatever with the coronavirus, and apparently he has passed away. So sad news there in the country world. So just kind of a message there that this coronavirus you're not immune to it. Anybody at any level of anywhere can pick it up. And I also saw too that Prince Charles, I guess, has been diagnosed with coronavirus. So quick recovery to him, hopefully. And I guess Tom Hanks and his wife's on their way home, so I guess they're over their quarantine period. And on to the MMA news. Of course, the top of the MMA news there is John Bones Jones, and we'll be talking to our guests here in just a little bit about that, on some of their thoughts around that. I've got my own opinions toward it, but we'll discuss that. Got a report from Cormier that says if the coronavirus lasts until fall, that he will retire. Who knows if these guys are telling the truth or not. You know how you get the urge of going and coming back. And let's see, Mike Perry I guess knocked some dude out in Orlando. Some drunk hit him in the mouth, and it was, I guess it's the wrong person, wrong place and time that he knocked him cold outside of a bar in Orlando, Florida. Go out there, and that video's out there. Pretty cool.
Yeah, watch that.
UFC 249 on April 18th is still a go with Khabib Nurmagomedov and Tony Ferguson. From what I understand, they're trying to set up a place somewhere off the coast, or not off the coast, out of the United States where there's no quarantines going on. So, and I guess Joe Rogan will not be commentating that. That was kind of where that's kind of where that came from, was Joe Rogan's post. So I guess they're going to be less than 10 people in the whole area where they're doing this.
Yeah.
But he will not be commentating.
That's cool.
Let's see. Other MMA news. Usman Masvidal, of course, I mentioned the last time, are still, so far, still a go at UFC 252 on July 11th. And I pray that this happens, because we've already bought our plane tickets. We already got tickets to the Scorpion concert during that week. So hopefully we'll be there at International Fight Week in Las Vegas, and it won't be a ghost town like it is now. And last but not least, the Wilder Fury trilogy has been moved. It was originally going to be the following week from International Fight Week, and it has been moved to October. So we will have to wait until the fall to see that happen. So, on to. Let me see here. I got to get all my audio stuff here straightened out. All right. So, without further ado, I actually have two people on with me tonight. I didn't make a screen for both of them to be on it, so we'll be flipping between the two of them. Sometimes you might be able to hear a person and not see them, and that's all right. But without further ado here, this guy has been fighting roughly for 5 years, sanctioned fights. Since 12 years old, he's been learning how to fight. Record: 1 knockout, 1 TKO, 5 submissions, and 1 decision. And he's ranked, I just kind of wrote these down, in their various places along the East Coast, but number 1, number 4, number 8, and number 1 was the numbers that I had. Of course, I see this Tapology thing here has some different numbers on it too. Florida number 2, U.S. Northeast number 2. But anyway, that being said, he's pretty much a badass, and that's why we have him on Robert's Report. So without further ado, and let's hope that this screen transitions right, and it looks like it is. Rookie Randall, how you doing,
man,
champ?
Good, sir. Good. Blessed.
So,
how's your day?
Oh, it's wonderful here. We're actually, it feels like we're about ready to blow away down here. The wind is just nuts. But I think we're transitioning from the nice 70-degree weather over the weekend back to the 50s, I believe, here. So, yeah, of course, the wind's kicking up. So, but yeah, then we also, I'm gonna go ahead and flip over here just for a second so we can see another person's face. We also have Ricky's manager, and let's pray that the audio sticks on here when we transfer over. Are you with me there, Rex?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Rex. Yeah, we got Rex Thompson here with Donnybrook Fight Promotions, and he's Rookie Randall's manager, so we'll be referring back and forth between him as well. And Rex also manages Nico the Hybrid Price and UFC fighter Hybrid Price. So if those of you that watch UFC, which I do, and most of the people on my program do, this is his manager. So we appreciate you taking the time to join us here along with Rookie. So let me switch.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Let me switch back over to rookie here. All right, so Ben, I seen your fight on. I seen your home. We call it back in my days. We called it a home movie. Now they call it a now we call it a Facebook video or whatever you call it. But anyway,
TV
I
clip.
saw your video from the backyard fight, which what this reminds me of whenever I was growing up was playing the. We did a few kicking matches here and there, but we did the backyard football, and no, of course you don't have pads for backyard football or anything like that. But you've always wanted to be a fighter, I guess.
So man, it goes real far back, but those fights you're talking about back in like when I was a kid, my hometown, the end of the school year, it's kind of how we settled things. We figured things out. Maybe we'd hold a little event, kids from other towns who said they fought or trained to fight. That's where we would handle it. End of the year, put the gloves on and let's do it. It's been like that since I was young. I was all about fighting. It's all I ever wanted to do. As soon as I saw it, I was just obsessed. As soon as I put my gloves on the first time, as soon as I went to a gym, it was like a euphoria. It just never left.
So was there ever a point was there any specific person that kind of inspired you to do it, or people maybe? I know that you hang out with Mark Coleman a little bit, which is obviously
Right.
a pretty good figure in UFC. But is there that one person that?
It's tough, man. So when I look back, when I first started watching mixed martial arts, I just loved it. I thought it was super cool to be able to control the atmosphere. I lost my brother at a young age, so I quickly I wanted to find something kind of drive my attention to all the time. And fighting luckily became that first big outcome. I had close friends that trained me. But when I first started training, though, we had different people who were on Tough, the Ultimate Fighter, that were coming out of my gym. I saw people who trained high level, people who were at Thailand. Right off the rip, I didn't know what a gi was. I didn't know I just trained straight for the cage when I started. That's the only concept I knew. So later on, I learned about traditional martial arts and how lineages and things like that. And I was that's amazing, that's interesting, but that wasn't what I was bred for at the beginning. I was just bred straight to the cage. That's all I knew. That's all I know.
Did I hear you say you lost your brother?
Yes, sir. I lost my brother in 2008, March 24th, car accident.
Oh, jeez. So sorry to hear that.
It's all right. It's tough. I'm very close. It doesn't. Days go by, I don't really think about him, but he'd be proud of what I'm doing. He'd be proud to see what I'm doing. So that's all that matters. I'm blessed.
Yeah. So that there's enough inspiration alone, I'm sure, just with that. And something else around. So let's talk about this whole inspiring thing. I guess you broke your back at some point. How did that happen, and where did it happen?
And a big thing you learn about most fighters and most people who sacrifice their life to do anything that they love. There's going to be a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations in what you do. My senior year, I was wrestling. I was a wrestler. I wanted to compete at the Division I level. I wanted to wrestle high level, so it'd be easier to get contracts. It's like I got my martial arts in while I was at school. I looked at it like a form of grappling. I was deadlifting. I was lifting heavy. I was wearing straps. I lost my momentum. I lost my balance. I went to release. My left strap stayed on. When I released the weight, it was 405. It was just too much. So when I went to resist it or stop it, it blew out my lower lumbar, L4. I finished my senior year of wrestling with it. It was tough. A lot of times I wake up, my feet were numb, my back would ache. All the time my stomach would hurt. Weird things. I'd struggle to do anything almost. I finished my senior year wrestling and it hurt. It still didn't feel right. I found out more that I was supposed to get a surgery prior, but because of certain things in my life, it's like the doctors and people didn't want me to know. They wanted me to keep wrestling almost and kind of ignore it. They felt it would crush me, but it didn't. I knew I could always get better. I knew I could get better. I wish they told me sooner, if anything. I got the surgery. It was about a year and a half before I could really tie my shoes again, but because of my how obsessed I wasn't crazy, I went right into collegiate wrestling. Not even 5 months after. It was 3 months competing. was lifting. I was with the team. I made the tryouts. It was doing all this with a broken back, man. They just feed you pain pills. They didn't care about me as a person. And I learned that later on when I pulled away from wrestling. I pulled away from the sport to give my time rehab. I didn't want these medicines. I didn't want all that poison in my body. So I spent a long time having to fix myself, but it was more than doable. It just took time.
Well, that's actually that's a part of this that I hadn't heard about with the. So you had opioid addiction then?
Some would say that.
So, in a sense, or prescription drugs, I should.
Well, here's the thing: they didn't teach me, man. They would just feed me pills, right. And it make it so I can wrestle. It makes it so I can compete. You know, I didn't know I was doing this if I was young. I was very young. So yes, it was bad. And when I stopped doing them, it was all on my own whim, out of nowhere, pretty much. I just stopped.
Yeah.
And that's when things changed, man. I got my moods, my emotions, they all changed for me. I got sick. I had pains. The doctors tried to give me antidepressants to fix the scenario, but that wasn't what I needed. I needed time to heal myself. I needed more time to train, just gradually progress. Obviously, you should expect someone to be depressed after they get off those medications. You should expect someone to be depressed when they break their back. They should have given me time to heal instead of just trying to find forced ways to fix it.
Yeah. Well, that's a true inspiration right there to a lot of people. I mean, it's no shame for, so many times. I mean, you hit the nail on the head there with doctors. I mean, so many times, and there's a lot of good doctors out there, but the answer isn't always to just continually feed somebody medications to fix a problem. I mean, especially mental problems sometimes.
A lot of doctors, I mean, like I get it. They want to help or they want to find what they can to give the person the best style of living that they can think of.
Right.
They told me I would never wrestle again. They told me I wouldn't fight again. They didn't expect someone like me to want to keep doing that. So I understand that's what they were trying to do to help. But I wasn't going to stop what I needed to do.
Yeah, within our gym, our MMA, shout out to Ronin MMA Jiu-Jitsu gym here in the one I go to for Jiu-Jitsu. We've had some people, both male and female, that have come in there. I mean, actually, I myself, I don't want to say that it's. I had a better attitude going into it than what a lot of people have. What I'm trying to say there is, maybe had been in an abusive relationship, maybe had been, just low self-esteem, that sort of thing. But, I guess where I'm going with that is you found an answer within yourself with the MMA and with, training, and these were yeah, go ahead.
If it wasn't for MMA, if it wasn't for what I found in this sport, like there's so many things I think that would have crippled me in my life. I moved around a lot, so confidence and things like that were tough to get when you go to a new school. You're the new kid all the time. I was the youngest of many, so I was the smallest. So very often I felt that I had to do extra things to get attention, naturally. Life wasn't the easiest growing up. Moving a lot, different things in the household. Money wasn't always there. It's just how life is. The household is a little bit mixed up.
Right.
And throughout no matter what it was, dude, because I found the sport so young, I was blessed to find my passion at such a young age that no matter what I was enduring in my life, I could constantly think of what it's going to be, what I can make out of it, what I can see happening in the visions, man. I feel like my life's like a movie. The more I fight, the more I do what I need to do. These fights go the way I imagine. My training goes the way I imagine. The people that I've met through this sport, nothing can take this away. I'm telling you, this has been my savior. In a lot of ways. Glory to God for letting me find my passion. I feel blessed. And every day, man, I broke my back. I've had knee surgeries. I've lost the closest of friends. I've seen dark times, man, where most people I know won't pull themselves out of. Every time I will.
So have you, as being the inspired person, have you inspired people as well? I mean, do you know some people within your circle, your MMA circle, your gym, and do you have people that you know that you know where I'm going with that? I mean,
Of course, man. My big thing too when I travel is I want to be anyone that I work with, anyone I train with. Whenever I go in the gym, I want to increase that energy. I want to be happy. I want to be lifted up. I want everyone to pick their energy up just with me. I want everyone to smile, laugh, and to train. I feel like intensity increases a lot of times when I'm just in the room with people, working with everybody.
yeah.
And it's not even that I'm higher level than most people or higher, more technical. It's because I want to push that pace and I would love to do it. And it makes other people realize they love to do it. They want to be in there. I've had many people message me consistently and tell me I'm inspirational. A lot of ask for advice. And it's interesting because I don't really look at myself as inspirational. I just look at myself as someone who's going to endure and push no matter what. I get inspired when I see other people do it. All the time, man. I have friends, all my closest friends, all the people I keep around me are inspirations to me. It's true. Like, I only surround myself with the people that can keep me up. And it's just how it is. It's habit. I'm blessed to have the people around me. I'm blessed to have the life that I live.
Yeah, I saw on one of your pictures that you had, or it was a saying about you want to be around people that are funny.
Yeah.
So, do you know that? I mean, I don't have it here in front of me, but where does that kind of go in hand with that? I guess. I mean,
it does. It goes in with I really believe in like aura or vibe or energy, and that you carry with you carries to the people you're around. It carries to everything you do in life.
Right.
So like people that are funny, people have that optimism about them, or like that satire in life. I love to have that around me, because sometimes in the darkest times we need people that can make everybody laugh. You got a sad room, and you can make someone laugh, and everybody in the room laugh. It changes the whole aura.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. My thing is music, gym, MMA, and of course family. Families.
So everyone in my family that I feel besides me really is a lot more musically inclined. They can either play an instrument or play an instrument. Not me, but music is a huge thing for me. It's along with MMA, music's the other thing, man. Like when I couldn't train or I had things going on, I would always have my headphones in and I'd be visualizing. I remember when I was listening to Kanye West after my back was broken. I remember they told me, like, you might be able to move your feet, you might not. We'll know in the next like 3 days, pretty much. And it was 2 days, man. I couldn't even move my feet, and it was because of the morphine and all the drugs. But luckily, the third day I was moving my feet. But I always credit it to the music that I was listening to.
So
the way it made me.
I've got one of my listeners on here asking, what age group are you? I can't remember how old are you?
25.
25 years old, Angie. And flyweight.
So I'm flyweight and a bantamweight. I'll fight at either weight class. I just love to fight, man.
Yeah, they're pretty close. So I will.
Yeah, so 125 and 135. Currently, I'm blessed to be number one in New England at 125 and 135, and I'm number one in Florida currently at 135. I'm not fully sure in my Eastern, like my Northeast and Southern East rankings, but I'm pretty sure I'm top 3 at both, at least.
Yeah, I mean out of any of them there, I mean, you take an average, you're easily in the top 5. So, it's.
And every time I can, I'm like, I love having fun. I want to be out there for the whole time, but I'm finishing the fight.
So, what do you think on what's going to be your when's going to be your pro debut? Do you have anything, or do you kind of up in the air with this whole COVID-19 thing?
That's the issue, man. The COVID-19 thing. Luckily, Rex and different people currently are working with some sanctioning to figure out some stuff about Donnybrook fight promotion. Figuring out pro fights through that group and stuff like that. But I have different offers. Different people have reached out. It's just kind of which path we take. Like UFC Fight Pass is amazing. I obviously want to fight overseas. That's where I want to end up. But I'm kind of just letting it flow. The COVID-19 kind of makes it hard. I want to do something soon as possible, but we don't know. So I'm going to keep my riding, training hard, and we'll get the call.
Right. So how did you find Rex, or did Rex find you?
So how do I think back? I can't even think how many years ago. So I was, I was just wanted to piss and vinegar running around, dude, after college, wrestling, like fighting, like training at different gyms, just taking fights and doing well. Because I trained at a young age, so I had a lot of natural things that I did. Pretty blessed. And then I wanted to fight back in my home area, my hometown area, and luckily Rex had a promotion, but at that time it wasn't owned by Rex. It was a smaller promotion. I did a fight, and then we couldn't find anyone to fight me in the area. So I went to Florida. I met Nico Price. I started that adventure. I spent a few years down there. I came back. I was at a show with Rex, talking with Rex. We communicated back and forth for a few years. We just couldn't find anyone to fight me. I talked with Rex. He said, "Hey man, let's set something up. Let's figure something out for you, man." I got along Granite City. Lucas John, an amazing coach. I did a fight. I did it on like 15-minute notice in Rutland, Vermont. I fought some kid. It didn't go too well for him, but luckily I was blessed. The fight went my way. Rex met with me after. We discussed some things. We figured out what we could do to kind of advance my career and move my position, and we've been working together ever since. The whole Donnybrook Fight Promotion, Granite City, Thompson family. It's a miracle. It's a miracle in the making, and there's a lot to come. I know it. But Rex is he's been a light through a lot of this dark for me, this confusion. He's been guiding me in a lot of proper ways. And as a fighter, it's tough to trust even coaches. It's tough to trust managers. It's tough to trust fight promoters. You get people that treat you bad. You get people that don't actually have the right intentions for you from the get. I've learned that. Rex has never treated me ill, never will. It's good. It's good to have someone in your corner like that, someone you can trust mindset-wise.
So Rex, actually, I'm changing something here, so this will be a little bit smoother transition instead of waiting. There we go. There's Rex. How you doing, Rex?
What's going on, man?
Got to be pretty proud here of Rookie.
Oh, absolutely. He's a good kid, man. He's a real good kid.
So I'm going to go ahead and ask you, and how did you get into fighting? You're into construction. I mean, have you always been into the?
Well, I've done martial arts my whole life. I got with a promoter up here. I was judging for her. But before that, my daughter made her MMA debut when she was 16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's how we originally got into it. And then after my daughter fought, the promoter asked me if I wanted to be a judge. So I became a judge, and I was judging fights for her. Then she asked me if I wanted to buy her promotion. And I didn't want to start another venture this late in life, but I said, no, I'm not going to buy the promotion, but I'll buy the ring and the cage. I felt like I had enough experience with marketing and stuff like that we could probably make a go of it.
Which is not a cheap investment.
No, it really wasn't, but it was something. I really wanted to teach both my kids how to be self-sufficient, how to run their own business. So that's what this really was about. That's how it started anyway, was that. But we're evolving every day, expanding. Now we've expanded into the fight management business. Another thing I never expected. But I just felt like a lot of the fighters needed someone that wasn't just out to take advantage of them.
So, Rookie.
Yes, sir.
Would you consider Rex then as sort of a, I don't know, would he be a role model to you? I mean,
of course, man, a mentor. Rex is definitely he's guiding me any way he can properly. Also what I've learned too is that I've learned that it's not, he doesn't look at me just as a fighter. He looks at me as a person. He cares about like what's going on in my daily life. Also, he cares about like what's going on in my head, how am I feeling, am I getting food in me? Like, it's not just about my fighting. He cares about my social life, my personal life too, and he takes his time. But also he cares about what I'm doing after fighting.
Yeah,
we're gonna be here after fighting. That'll all come one day too. And Rex thinks about all those options and those routes too.
Yeah, so I noticed, before we started the show, we were just kind of chatting back and forth. Just, I guess the reason I said that was because, I could kind of get the vibe, the relationship that you, saying how much, that you miss them and that sort of thing. Just your all's interaction is pretty cool.
So I came down on my hometown's Hoosick Falls, New York, title town. So I came back to stay with one of my closest friends growing up, a couple of them for a little while, and visit with some people. So I've been away from home for a little bit. So I'm starting to get a little homesick. Been away from the mats.
I hear you. And Rex, let me flip back over to Rex here. So Rex, you had this past week you brought some mats. You've been kind of dealing with the whole COVID-19 thing by having a little personal distancing, social distancing there within your living room or somewhere or other. You brought some mats in. I've seen y'all doing some grappling.
Only an hour and a half before coming on your podcast.
Yeah, it's a really fun craft, and I know I say I'm probably a broken record out there to a lot of people when I say this, but there's such it's such a different key set or whatever for jiu-jitsu, and both it and gi or no gi, two completely different skill sets is what I guess is what I'm looking for, but I thought that was very cool though to see. I mean that just kind of shows the love that you have within within the sport for somebody to bring mats into their living room and have a grappling match.
No, I really I've done a lot of martial arts when I was I started as a kid doing some judo. I wrestled. Then I started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a little while. I did it with my son when he was real small. I got away from it and ended up going and doing Taekwondo. But a funny story is, so the reason I had stopped doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was I went over and I'd been training, and I didn't understand that black belts actually take it easy on white belts. I thought everybody just tried to take it. So I went against this older gentleman, and he I felt I swept him. I was like, wow, I must be really good at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I was like, well, obviously my grappling is just that good. I should probably go learn some striking. I had done a little bit of Golden Gloves boxing, not much, but I felt like I needed to have something, and I was like, well, I grew up watching K1 kickboxing with my dad and stuff like that, so I wanted to do karate or Taekwondo. So I checked out karate, but I wasn't into the point fighting thing. The reason I went with Taekwondo is because it was full contact. So I went and I did that for, I don't know, probably the next 8 years or so. I ended up making my way back into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu by running into our coach, Lucas John, who is my referee. So he kept bugging me to come to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he's a little skinny dude with a mohawk. He's like 140 pounds. And I was 259 pounds at the time.
And how much does he weigh? How much did you say he weighs?
145. So I figured I would go to his class, and he was like, you want to roll? And I was like, all right, I'm just going to maul this little dude over, and he will just stop bugging me about joining his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. Well, I was so frustrated. I couldn't do anything. And I was on top of him, and he was slowly moving, and I didn't understand that he was pushing my arm across his midsection so he could take my back. But I knew he was climbing up my back, and there was not a damn thing I could do about it. I was like, how is this happening to me? So ever since then, I was like, well, I need to keep coming back till I figure out what the hell just happened to me.
Isn't that
so
crazy? It's just nuts. And the reason why I say that, I mean, I'm a third stripe, third degree or whatever white belt, and I weigh 225, and our coach is about he around 135, and
yep.
And there's a guy in our class that's I think he's 3 something. I mean, he's not fat. He's just a big dude. And,
right.
And Ryan maneuvers himself around and spins, and we call him the spider monkey. I mean, the dude just, like you say, I mean, and he's a purple belt.
Have you ever like grabbed, the way I looked at it was, have you ever grabbed before?
Say it again.
Have you ever grabbed an octopus before?
I have not.
So I happened to be, I was snorkeling down in Honduras one day, and we caught an octopus, and we put this octopus in our hand and squeezed it, tried to swim back to the shore. Slowly, this octopus, one tentacle at a time, started somehow sneaking through just the smallest spaces in my fingers. Next thing you know, it was wrapped around my hand, biting me, and I couldn't get the thing off. So I always would call Luke freaking octopus, because that's how I felt. He would slowly move, and you could put him in the smallest little confinement, and you couldn't stop him from getting out of it and getting on your back and biting the shit out of you.
Yeah, so take note there, rookie, because this is what you're gonna be one day. You're gonna be teaching a class and just laying it to somebody like Rex.
Mm-hmm. You guys want to be an octopus? You want to be an octopus out there? Slow and steady wins the race, boys. Hey, man.
So
add hammer there, game changer.
What do you think about? We're going to kind of switch gears here a little bit. Something kind of big, and we kind of touched on a little bit of this before we really got into it. John Bones Jones. Good time to talk about John Bones Jones. You know, yeah. I mean, the guy has everything. This dude can, you know, he's feared by, you know, whether they say it or not, by many. Like kind of like the Mike Tyson of UFC. You know.
Yeah.
If you put him up, I mean, if you put up against, I'm sorry, but if you put him up against like even Conor McGregor, good example. Jones is so rounded in his game.
Pretty sure he was a New York wrestler. I think pretty sure he's out of the Endicott or Ithaca, New York area. That explains I think when he fought Rampage Jackson, he came out in a low wrestling stance. I think he represented that part of New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he is super athletic, very confident, understands his range, his distance. Overall, extremely well-rounded martial artist, amazing person. But that's just kind of how the style of person I feel like he's always been is partier. He likes to be extreme.
What possesses a guy with so many chances to even take the chance? What do
you mean by chances in his head, man? You say chances, he has a limited amount of them in his eyes. He's already gotten away with things how many times with no repercussion? No full repercussion? It's why he has no fear of the situation. He has no fear of the outcome. He knows that he's going to be John Jones by the end of the day. So that's just, you don't have any repercussions for what you do. You're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, you know, I guess the issue I have with it is how much more he could get, how much more he could have.
You know, I guess for him, man, it must not be about what he has. He must still need something in life. Those world titles must not mean enough to him. The group he trains with, what he has in life, all that must not be enough for John Jones. He must need something else at the end of the day. And hey, man, you better find a new sport, because fighting, if that's what how you're going to keep acting fighting, then you haven't found yourself. You haven't found what you need to do or what you want to do. Because that's what you need to do. Happy, then you're not happy, man. Get the fuck out of the sport.
And then the other thing that it kind of taints his whole, not necessarily only that, but you know, the pleads that he made for all these no doping things that have went on. It kind of, can you believe that now?
I mean, obviously he's used steroids, or he's used some sort of thing like that in his career. I mean, anyone can try to argue with me about that. Most of these high-level athletes have done something or have done something. Most of them, when they spend years off of training and USADA won't allow them to do something for a little while, it's because they're getting themselves clean. Let's be real. Yeah, man, it's shitty. It's shitty for the sport. It's shitty for everyone who does it right morally. I don't get. My biggest thing is he's an amazing fighter. He is. He's talented. He probably isn't that bad of a guy to train with. He probably isn't that bad of a guy to know. He probably has his bad times. You know, we'll probably get his bad stuff that he does probably gets more glorified than the good stuff currently. It's still no excuse to act crazy. It's no excuse to show up late to sign autographs, piss drunk, stumbling through the door, man. Kids look up to you. Kids need you in their life. If that's not the role you don't want to play, then don't do the signatures. Don't do that extra stuff. Just be real with everyone, man, about what you do, man. And life's going to be a lot more organic and a lot more fun. And I feel a lot of times he wants to play all these different roles and everything that he does, and it's just dangerous for him, for everyone around him, and for everyone he loves.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a wife and kids and stuff. I mean, you know, that should be enough reason there to...
He's got wife, kids. He's got a family. He's got a mother. I don't know him too personally, but I know he's got a team that likes to work with him. He's got coaches that love him.
Yeah, and that's another thing.
He represents everyone when he does these things.
Some of the best training in the world right there. You know how many people even at his level right now that would die to have the people that are surrounding him. I mean, look, you. Imagine what you could do with nothing against the training that you have, but the camps that he has and the people that he spars with, and he's got a freaking nutritionist.
So luckily I'm blessed with a lot of these things, man. I have high guys I get to spar with. I travel around. I feel like I've figured out kind of the recipe and a lot of what it takes to become that next level everyone talks about, the elitist that everyone talks about. I've gone to go across the country and I've sparred at these high level gyms and I've worked over plenty of people at my weight. And honestly, sometimes I walk in there and I don't think I'm gonna, and I do. So I'm like, okay, never mind. Hell yeah. But the thing is, like, I feel like when I've built that with my group, when I built that with my team, that's not how I want to represent any of them. No matter how much money I made, no matter what happened. Because when I go in there, it's my escape from reality. It's my different world. It's my realm where we all find peace together. Now it's almost bringing that into that gym life. Now he's almost bringing that into that atmosphere. People don't want that around them. People don't need that around them. People are going to those gyms to get away from that shit.
Right.
Like, there's so many people out there who struggle from like addictions and things like that, and he's gonna be like, oh, I can do all this, and still have a problem. Okay, I get it. You're a functioning addict. Well, what about the people that can't do that and want to strive to be amazing and talented just like you, and they can't make those options. They can't make those jumps or steps. It's twisted to the mind.
Right.
He's supposed to be an example for many. I understand he didn't ask for that role, but that's the role he's put in.
And people screw up. Everybody screws up sometime.
And don't get me wrong, man. I have plenty of things in life that I might have done or things like that I'm not proud of. But I've changed and I've grown, and I'm not going to repeat the things that I've done, man. And if you want to look at someone the next day for something they won't do the day prior, then yeah, you're convicting an innocent man. But you can't say that you're innocent and you're not going to do it again if you keep doing it. You're not innocent anymore. You're guilty.
That's a good point. Very good point. Yeah.
Like, if you want to say change, then change. Be organic. If you're not going to change, then stay the asshole.
Yeah, and it kind of, a lot of people down Daniel Cormier. And, you can call him crybaby and call him whatever. But, it kind of makes you think now over the whole rival and some of the things that Cormier had said and acted about things behind the scenes with the whole rivalry. Maybe he did see all this stuff that some of these people didn't say that.
Well, you know what? Of course, he saw a side of John Jones that very few people got to see. Of course, man. But you know what? When it comes to that, I think when it comes to two personal fighters' beef in their relation, now we're talking about work almost, a work correlation. Like I get along with people that I fight after I fight them.
Right.
I'm not the best or the nicest person to them before I fight them. I'm not going to lie about that. I'm not. they're trying to embarrass me in front of my family. They're trying to hurt me in front of my family and friends. Guess what? I'm gonna hurt you way before that shit even comes to my concept.
Right.
So I don't want to be buddies. I don't want to be friends because I don't want to hurt anyone. I'm not really that ill of intent. But you gotta do what you gotta do.
That's all part of the fight game as well. Is
But
not necessarily just the physical part, but the.
And those two, they skipped past that respect because they didn't have it for mutual for each other. Okay, that's business then.
Right.
But for you to cry after the fight, you did sign up to fight. You didn't know what was going to happen. It didn't go your way, and it's emotional and it's hard. But humble and victory or defeat. You stand up when you lose. You're on the ground, you get up. You don't lay on that back. You don't stay on the ground and sob and wait for someone to pick you up. You get up.
Yeah. You know what? And I, as a fan, I don't ever intend on being in an MMA fight, but being a fan, I would much rather see respect after the fact than.
Yeah, man. My 2 fights ago, I had no problem with that kid. He was a traditional martial artist, super respectful, no problem. We shook hands after the fight, laughed. There's no problem. I could actually throw my arm over this kid's shoulder after the fight and sit there and talk and laugh with him, no issues. My last fight, my opponent before the fight, he talked some stuff. He grabbed my cup one time in a face-off, like trying to cause issues with me. So after the fight, before the fight, I wasn't cool with him, man. I told him right when we were staring at each other, I was like, "You're lucky this ref's here." But after the fight, man, I shook his hand. I said, "Thank you for doing the fight. Thank you for coming out here because it takes 2 of us. I can't do this by myself." But are we homies? Are we friends? Not really. Do I have any bad negative feelings towards him? No, but we're mutual. The kid I fought before that I trained with or whatever I worked with, who had no issues with me, no problem, no bad beef or anything to say, yeah, I'm going to work with you because I like you. I get along with you, man. If you're going to cause issues prior before we even know each other, we're not going to get along.
So could you fight somebody within your own camp?
Could I? Yes.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
Yeah. No, I've always wondered that, because there's so many times. I mean, in some of the high level camps, they've got you got people in the top 5 rankings, and
I know the people that I've trained with in the past or gyms that I've traveled to. I'll end up fighting one of my old training partners for sure. That's how it works.
It's all part of the game, right? I mean, that's like you said. If you want to fight, fight. If not, then.
Well, if anything, in my opinion, it's kind of like, as friends, then I would want you to fight me anyway. Because then we know we're both getting paid, we're both going to put out a good show, we won't have ill intent. We're going to fight. We're going to do what we love to do. Let's go out and do it.
Right.
And if anything, 2 close friends can make for a nasty fight if they get along.
That is a true story. Some of my worst spats growing up were with closest friends. You just that one wrong word or,
right.
Call it or whatever.
I had a kid that me and him had, growing up, we were young and, we were all kind of fighters. We had some beef. We were kind of rivals, actually. Mm-hmm. And then he started coming to my gym out of nowhere because he wanted to train to fight, and I was already training. So day one, man, it was cut each other's throat pretty much. Right at each other, rolling nonstop every round, I want another round with that cat. One time, just always constantly going at each other, battling. We went from being enemies, complete enemies pretty much. But through that aggressive training with each other, pushing each other nonstop, we became the closest of friends. Mm-hmm. An unwritten bond between us. And it was interesting how that developed. And I honestly, I can't thank that. I can't thank him enough for putting that extra edge in my life.
So what's it like training with Nico Price?
Intense. You know what? It's a lot of times certain people bring certain intensities when they train. He brings a great intensity. I love doing the weight circuits that he does, the different conditioning circuits that he does. A little different, but I learn a lot, man. And that's what I see. There's a lot of things that's many things that he's doing that I don't do already. It's just different intensity, different bodies, and a different outlook on a lot of things. When you have someone at that next level who's already seen the contracts, talked to those people, and dealt with a lot of that stuff, or been around the game, you can learn a lot. You can ask those questions. You can get that opinion before you have the scenario happen to you. And also, it's amazing, man. I'm getting it's so much fun. You go to a place with Nico, a lot of times people look at you the bullseye on you, who's this kid walking in with him? And it's all right. I mean, I'm just another fighter, but if you want to see where this goes, let's go. I love it. It's a blessing.
Yeah, I was going to say it definitely will put your name out there more too. You know, if hopefully, you know, maybe it'll connect you to Dana White one day. You know, it's all about networking, right?
Of course, I mean, you get that in anything, any profession or anything that you love to do. It's all about networking and who you know.
And of course, you got,
That's another reason I love so much. And I picked the fight out when people were like, "You want to fight this kid? He's #1 in Florida. You want to fight this kid? It's only 2-week notice, whatever." Yeah, I'm gonna fight that kid. What do you mean? I'm here to fight. No fear in my heart for sure. It's a blessing, dude. Like to be able to do this every day is a blessing.
yep.
I get excited. I love it.
So, I seen you kind of doing some of the balance. That was kind of a cool exercise you did with the balancing ball thing and catching the ball, and kind of remind me of the Karate Kid in a way.
Right. So I don't think about that, but so let's say you slip a punch, you get knocked off balance, you're in a weird position or a weird angle, and you see a punch that you can throw and you're not in a comfortable position. Well, if you're used to balancing at weird angles and weird positions all the time, that means you can comfortably get your weight under you, plant your feet, and throw from that weird angle. So you can see shots that people can't throw. You can see things that people can't do. So I'm like, I can either run off my back foot, I can be slipping off the left, I can be hurt wobbling, but I can still get my feet under me. Boom. There you go. The fight's over. So that's a big that, and also activating all those small muscles in the body, consistently just staying ready everywhere.
Yeah,
it's important.
It's kind of funny on. I've heard, and that, whenever people are using dumbbells as an example versus using a machine, from what I understand, that's kind of another concept of what you're talking about on your balance thing there. With you're using the smaller muscles that you don't normally use, like on a machine. You can't recreate that on a machine versus your stabilization and that sort of thing.
Your stabilization muscles, like all those small muscle groups, and very important. Like let's say you're doing like dumbbell flies on a bench, compared to doing dumbbell flies on a yoga ball. You're attacking much smaller muscle groups now, a little deeper, a little more coarse, because you have to add that balance in there. It's important. Strength and conditioning. Those are some of the most important parts about being a next level athlete or being a healthy person, let alone being a world-renowned fighter. So like every aspect, every part of the day is super important.
Is there anybody in the UFC that you've seen, or Bellator? I don't want to be all UFC. Yeah, is there anybody that you can think of right off the top of your head that you've seen them fight and you say, you know what, I think I could.
I watched Tim Elliott last night. Are you kidding me, bro? He ranked top 10 in anything. Oh my god, dude. He was running around with his hair, like the best thing he did at that fight was dye his hair, man. Running around with his hands down, getting tagged up, confused, and wondering why he lost the fight.
Who was it again? You broke up whenever you
said. Tim Elliott.
Oh, Tim Elliott. Yeah. Tim
Elliott, 25er, man. And the whole thing with the 25er with Benavidez, man, and I can't pronounce the other dude's name. I don't mean any disrespect. He's a talented flyweight too, but he couldn't even make weight. How you not gonna make weight? Because you're gonna give up some of your purse. You're gonna knock the dude out. Well, you don't get the belt. Why do a title fight if you're not gonna get the title?
What do you think about Sugar Sean O'Malley?
Oh, I'd love to fight him, man.
That dude's insane, isn't he?
I love watching his Instagram, man. It always makes me laugh pretty hard. Just the stuff he's doing and the vibe, the energy he has. He's got good energy, man. But he can't beat me.
His just his style, that I guess is, he knows how to promote himself.
But that's the way everyone should go out to fight.
Yeah.
Dude, have fun, love. It should be a euphoria. You need to embrace every second of all of it.
Yeah, I'd like to. I can't wait to see you on the stage here one day. That'd be awesome to see you.
You'll love to see me on the big stage. I promise you'll see me up there. It's not even a question.
That's awesome. So this whole COVID-19 thing going on, how has it affected your training with the whole social distancing thing? I know it's been a pain in the ass.
It made it harder to do any jiu-jitsu classes, group grappling. So if I'm getting any stuff in, it's at a I have close friends, either doing privates with people, you know, or I'm doing strength conditioning. Luckily, I have a couple close friends who have everything that I need for that.
Yeah, see, I normally go to the local Planet Fitness here, and of course they've been shut down now for a couple of weeks. And I mean, you could still run, but there's just some things and of course our jiu-jitsu gym's been shut down too, so we haven't been able to do that. Yeah, just
that's kind of, you know, my biggest struggle is not being able to get on the mats as much as I want, but it's okay. Short break.
Yeah, as long as you keep your cardio up, I think you know you retain a good bit of the other.
My goal is to always stay ready for a fight. You never know when you're gonna get that call, short notice. You never know what's gonna happen. So I feel that I'm just always ready. I need to get down to weight in 2 days. I'll get down to weight in 2 days. I mean, I'm ready to go. I don't care who they call me to fight. I just want to fight.
So do you have the person set up that you're going to fight next, and where? Just don't know when.
So sadly, no, we don't know. There's so many options, and like it's like I won't back down to fight anybody. That's my issue. And there's so many options, so many different promotions. We just want to figure out who wants to work the best with us, who wants to pay us properly, and what'll be the most convenient, like easiest trip for everyone. I can get most of my fans there. I can get people following, watch. My big thing about fighting too is I don't want to experience a lot of stuff like alone. A lot of you already deal with so much alone. So like, you know, family, friends that I've made through this, training partners, all that is what I want around me. I don't want to do any of this alone. So when I pick these fights and I pick what I do, of course, every once in a while I'll be alone or I won't have family or friends or certain teammates with me, of course. My first few, I would love to find a way to be local. In the New England area, at least. If they're in Florida, they're in Alabama, California, wherever they have to be, I understand. But New England MMA, man, I'm number one New England 25 and 35. I just want some love.
You need to come down here to West Virginia. Get one of Mike Shepard's fights down here.
Sounds good to me. So I got a manager you can talk to.
Rex, get a hold of Mike Shepard, okay?
Ah.
No, that'd be awesome though. I'd love to see this. I mean, it's a growing sport still. I mean, that's what's another cool thing about this whole thing. And if y'all can hear sirens in the background or not, I got my window open. It's hot in here. But this whole sport's growing and here in the area. I mean, it's starting to really catch on too. Not necessarily just in the even some of the boxing's even starting to come back now. You know, I mentioned what's that again?
It's interesting how the boxing community works. I feel like it goes through like these highs of like being so like obsessed with by certain fighters and certain people, and then it goes to these crazy lows where no one talks about it. No one's worried about
funny though? Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. I blame marketing companies.
Yeah, it's you know, and you know, I had Psycho Joe Mack on here last week. He was the bare knuckle fighting guy. He's getting ready to.
Oh, bare knuckle, man.
Yeah, he's one of the co-founders for that, and we were kind of talking. He's a boxing historian, and you know, kind of like I was telling him, the whole reason why I started watching MMA is because boxing was boring to me. It was you got to watch. You know, it's different watching a fight with like the you know, the Fury versus Wilder. You know, that was I like watching that kind of boxing. That was cool.
You're right. Well, when you watch Mayweather versus Pacquiao and you wake up and you're like, it's not done yet?
Sucks. It's would, you know, you could take a nap and then wake up on 12th or 15th round and
like I'm a crazy martial artist fight fan, man. I put that fight on, I fell asleep multiple times. So I'm telling you, it was not a good fight.
So would you consider bare knuckle fighting?
Me, yes, of course.
That's
it depends. I'm probably the pay, man, because I'm taking a lot more risk by doing that. A lot more. You know what I mean? I take 5 clean shots. Yeah, they're not going to put me out, but guess what, man? I got some nice lacerations now that I got to get fixed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My eyelids hanging and shit.
Yeah, they had. Let's see, what was the one I had? watched Connor's. Let's see, it was
Oh,
Chris
Artem
Knight.
Lobov
Yeah.
night, man.
Did you watch that?
Woo! Yeah, I watched. Yeah, I love watching those, man.
Oh
I
my
really
God. They looked awful.
The more I watch bare knuckle boxing, I'm like, oh, my striking style would fit really well for that. And then I see the lacerations after. I'm like, yeah, but do I want to do it that bad?
Man, Artem Lobov, it kills me too, because they're after the fight. I mean, he's sitting there doing the interview and, calling out. I forget who he called out right off the top of my head, but, half his lips hanging out there, and he's got 4-inch gashes on both sides of his face. And I'm just, man, what a warrior. I mean,
For the fact that he woke up the next day and felt like trash.
Yeah.
It's like you want to win a fight and you're like, yeah, I won the fight. But you go out and you win the fight and you still feel like that the next day. I don't know how well you felt you won that fight.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure, like deep down, you feel like a dog because you just went through one of the craziest battles of your life. But you look in that mirror and you feel how you feel, and you're like, was that worth it?
Yeah, no kidding. So I'm gonna flip over to Rex here just for a second. I'm just curious on you're back, Rex. I'm glad you weren't picking your nose or anything here.
Oh, no, I'm good.
No, just kidding. But anyway, what do you think about? Have you ever thought about getting into the bare knuckle fighting promotions yourself?
Oh, hell no. I can't say that. Yes, we did. But we were trying to mix it. Going to do it mixed with but we got a lot of people back from coaches, a lot of people in the community, because for so long they've been fighting to, be legitimate and everything else, and they just felt it would bring up a lot of problems and stuff like that. So, no, I don't want to do another promotion. It's tough doing a promotion. Just a regular promotion, but then try to add in another bare knuckle one in there. Nah, I'm good.
So, just what does it take as far as? I know what Shepard down here goes through to put together a fight, but as far as money wise, people have no idea what it takes as a risk to put on one of these things. The amount of wheels that it takes for people to to show up, pay the ticket. That's all they got to do. Your wheels
Right.
behind the scenes.
Yeah, the last show that we did, I think we spent right around $18,000 or $19,000 to put the show on, between advertising, all of our staff. You got the DJs, you got the ring, the venue, the security. We do TV commercials, so the rooms for the fighters. There's a lot to it. There's a lot entire thing.
Yeah, and then on top of that, then you also have of course, the aggravation of people signing up to fight and then pull out, or that's got to be more frustrating than anything for for rookie and the promoter.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of pullouts. Usually, what we do is we will book, say, 17 fights, because we know that we're gonna. Let me. Am I back on there? Sorry about that.
Yeah, you're on. You're still there.
Oh, my phone went full power there. I don't have a lot of backouts because I don't do independent gym, but of course you have injuries, stuff like that happen to guys. But we really don't have. What we do is we book like 17 fights, because we know we're gonna have so many dropouts due to injury or whatnot. There's an average, so we still end up with at least 12 fights every time. I learned that lesson at the beginning when we first started doing this. This is a learning curve. You don't just walk in and automatically you know everything about promoting. We had a lot of lessons to learn. You know, we started in a little tiny moose club, and we called it the Redneck Ruckus. We were signing up anybody. You want to get in that cage? Hell yeah, we'll put you in that cage. Fighting, like, we had dudes that were fighting. I had one guy in there, and I'm on the microphone, so I make people keep the show. We keep everybody into the show. But we had one guy, it was her ex-husband and her current husband fighting.
Yeah.
You know, and it was the battle of the bad tattoos. These guys were drinking alcohol. You know, we've evolved. We've learned a lot of things, like doing this. It's been a process.
Yeah, I made a post on Facebook not too long ago, and I don't know if I was out of line for doing it or not, because I'm not a fighter, but for the life of me, I never understood that. Even as a fan, it's just so aggravating. You see these posters, promotions, and says, hell yeah, I can't wait to see, and this is more on the local. I mean, it rarely happens on the big stage, but around here you'll have, all these people that'll show up on the poster and yes, can't wait to see that. And then one or the other pulls out. And I just can't imagine, even from a fighter's point of view, I mean, you take all that time of training, preparing, mentally, physically,
most of
those
guys that are pulling out that for no reason whatsoever, they're usually not out of a legit MMA gym. I mean, on a rare occasion it happens, but you're dealing with coaches.
No, that's a good point.
Not specifically the fighter, but the coach. Coaches don't want guys taking fights and dropping because it makes their gym look stupid.
Yeah.
So that's something we did learn. That's why we got away from a lot of independent fighters, the guys that, hey, give me a shot. I'm the best dude. I'm 60-0 on the streets. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a very good point, Rex. Of what you say there. I mean, the gym has a lot to do with. I mean, I shouldn't say it has a lot to do with the fighter, but they're not legit. I mean, the gym itself, it really illegitimizes the.
Not. It's usually some buddies that get together and spar with each other and stuff, and they want to be on a poster.
Right.
And some of them are more legit than. I remember one of the very first MMA shows I went to at the Barrie Auditorium, and I remember two fighters standing outside with their hands wrapped, smoking cigarettes, and I was astounded by that.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I get the same feeling whenever I walk out of Planet Fitness over here when there's a ashtray right beside the door and the dude just got done working out and going out and sucking out a cigarette. Just
crushing.
Really? I'll never understand that, but yeah, that's you're exactly right.
That's what's happening here in Vermont, happening in New England, is things are evolving. It used to be your backyard guys, but now gyms have opened up. MMA has evolved so much. Now you're starting to see real competition everywhere.
It has, yes.
Yeah. So, and like you were talking earlier about fighting somebody out of your gym, but a lot of times you build your guys up through. So like Rookie, yeah, he's 125, but he's heading pro. So we have other guys. You have other guys that you bring up through that are following right behind. So you have very little chance in the amateur to run in and have to fight. As his manager, I wouldn't be good with him fighting anybody out of our gym as an amateur. As a pro, that's business is business. And that would be something that would have to be cleared with the coach. But as amateur, I don't agree with that. I can usually find somebody else to fight. There's not a need for people to fight guys out of their own gyms, especially at an amateur level.
Right. You know, and you kind of hit the nail on the head there too. That business is business. You know, at a fighter level. So I just wanted to. I was just kind of curious about that because there are some people even at the UFC level that have said that there's no way that I would fight such and such out of my gym, and you know, whether it's respect or fear or whatever it is. But some
It
people won't.
doesn't. Some people, you think about it. You like our gym. Our gym is more a gym. We're a family. Um, you know,
Yes.
I don't know if I could fight any of the guys. Well, I take that back. There's a couple guys I'd punch in the face, but no. But no, our gym is seriously. We hang out together outside of the gym. So to ask, that's like asking somebody to fight somebody in the ring. Unless you're a big, you know, you're one of those big gyms, a franchise or whatever, where you can go over and train somewhere else, or you know, maybe it's not that big of a deal. But a lot of these gyms, man, that's your family. You live there. You're there 6 days a week.
Well, the other tough part to that, man, is when so let's say you want to train with the elite, you want to train with the top dogs. Well, guess what, man? You could be like Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz, man. They're sparring each other in the back community. Chuck drops Tito Ortiz like he's nothing. The UFC's been building all on Tito, and they're like, well, why is he not the star? Well, they're buddies and training partners. Well, now it's forced tension. The company built them both up to eventually fight. John Jones, Rashad Evans, another clean example. But one was due to an injury, man. John Jones said it was my time to rise. How are you going to say, you can't have this belt fight? That's your teammates. It's a UFC world title. It's what you're working for. It's what you're dreaming for.
Oh
It's a
boy.
fine, it's
Yeah,
a
that's a good
fine line.
point. That's a good point, Ricky, because if it comes down to being the best in the world or not, and it comes down to it, and your buddy's all that's left, it's you against him, I guess. You know.
It's a sad thing, but there's a reality to it. And if you guys have full respect for each other, after the fight, the better man won.
Right. And it's different, and and it would be different between boxing or MMA versus, of course, with you know jujitsu or karate or something like that. That's a different. You're not there to rip somebody's head off normally at a karate or jujitsu, or it's more of a wrestling match, or
Mm-hmm.
or technique match, I should say, or whatever.
Right. There's less of a danger.
Right, exactly.
And yeah, I get that. But people spar with each other all the time. Yeah, you're not throwing 100%, but every once in a while, your closest buddies are the ones you have the hardest spars with. Like I said earlier, man, it's just business is business, nature of the beast, man, and it is what it is.
That's right. So what's as a MMA fighter, what is your normal daily routine?
Oh, luckily, like,
Or
because of
actually,
the corona
hang on
like
for a second.
that.
Actually, do you do this full time? Is this your full time thing now, or do you
Yes,
work as well? I mean, I don't want to say
I'm doing
work as well, but you know what I'm saying.
I'm doing some part-time work a little bit, but luckily with Rex and we're working with different sponsors, trying to put some proper sponsorship. This is what I'm doing full-time. I'm dedicating all my time to it, all my craft, everything I can.
Awesome.
I do take full advantage of it, man. Like people are like, oh, you're not working a normal job. Well, normal job, you're putting 8 hours in. I'm putting more than 8 hours in a day. I'll tell you that right now. This is so people say you put your passion in. You put your passion, make your passion your business. You're never at work. You put your passion. So let's say you're working a job you hate, and you have passion in something else where you're going to invest these 3, 4, 5 hours to that passion, not counting your work job. Now, if I spend my day doing my passion, now it's my work.
Right.
And then I can add the extra hours in those crafts that I'd put on. It's just more hours to craft my perfection of what I want to do. It's like being a writer, being a musician, being any sort of artist. It's the same thing in my eyes.
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. And like you said, I mean, as a fighter, I guarantee you put more than 8 hours a day. And I mean, I know.
Of course.
I know.
I can tell you a week that goes by where something doesn't hurt real bad.
Yeah, I know my coach, Brian. He's up. Of course, he's kind of went through his, and he's kind of he's getting up. I think he's 36, 37. So I mean, he's getting up close to that. Not doing it any longer. But he's still always fight ready. He fights professionally, boxes professionally.
Awesome.
But his days as an example. He talks about get up, have my cup of coffee, then I go and I hit the bags, and then I run, and all these different things. And yeah, there's sacrifices. I mean, are you married or girlfriend, kids, or anything?
So I'm not married, no girlfriend, no kids. I quickly realized, like in this life that I had to do, that relationships don't work that well with the amount of dedication that I'm putting in. Unless someone's all for my career with me, or they're self-career driven and like they don't mind like being alone or having time,
right.
It won't work. It's sad, man. I don't know when I'm gonna go travel and spend 3 weeks living in a gym and working my ass off. I don't know what all the times I was randomly get those offers, man. People will come spar with my guy, come work with my guy for a couple weeks, fly over here. Fuck yeah, excuse my language. But that's what I want to do, man. I want to go and grind. So it's hard to make any steady expectations with anyone when I can't always answer where I'm going to be the next day. I never know when I'm going to get a call to go somewhere. I don't know. But I'm going to always train, and I'm in priority number one.
But you're and that's like actually a good mindset. There's you're young, you're still developing.
I can't give myself to anyone or anything else until I've done what I need to do in this sport.
That's smart. That's you've got a good head on your shoulders. That's
Thank you, sir.
That's definitely smart, and you're and there will always be a time for that in the right person.
Correct. I feel that if I don't do what I need to do or what I personally feel that I'm meant to do, then I'll be very cynical towards life. So I'm not going to stop until I know that I've done everything I possibly can. And then I'll go and do whatever. I'll be a fat, happy, lazy dude.
Of course, you could always be, like you'll be going around like Mark Coleman and some of the other ones doing appearances.
So, and one day I would love to do a lot more motivational speaking to people. I love doing it. I love, hearing stories, making people happy, and just telling them about the things that I went through, I've endured, just so people don't feel alone. But I love the concept too of coaching one day, man. I feel like I'm gonna be able to coach and work and have some strong, developed guys, man. Because I feel like I look at fine-tuned things in martial arts that other people don't look at. Every detail matters to me, man. The pattern you're breathing, when you're opening your mouth, whether you're looking down or whether you're flinching on a step, where you're going, all of it. I feel that I can be a huge contributor to this sport in the future and now. And I know that, actually. I feel it with every part of me.
So with that being said,
just fighting, I want to be able to do it all. And very rare, very small occasions people can. And I've been patient. I've been calm with it. I didn't go pro early. I've developed myself and I'm learning. And every day I just want to learn more as much as possible.
You said you were 26?
25, sir.
25. 25 and going pro. That's pretty impressive. I mean, there's not too many that can say that. And there's one person that I can think of right off the top of my head that may have decided to go too early, and that was what was that? What was the UFC fighter's name that did the flips in the middle of the ring? I know you know who I'm talking about.
Sage Northcutt.
Yeah, there you go. That's the one, Sage Northcutt.
Well, that's what happens when you take that style of martial arts and you force it into mixed martial arts when you haven't mixed your martial arts up. Amazing, man. But also too, that kid spread himself extremely thin, man. When he was in college, doing different stuff, different media events.
Yeah.
A lot of that has a bit to talk about. Took a few fights in a short notice. He still had a lot of courage, self-development. His brain wasn't even done developing. Your brain doesn't stop developing until you're 24.
Yeah.
So, that's a lot for that kid to take in, a lot to handle, a lot of hype, and a lot of climb, and a lot of fall. Then you go to Japan and break your face.
That's kind of what I thought too. I don't think he was developed yet.
Correct. He wasn't finishing developing, progressing. Yeah, you went over to Team Alpha Male, and you worked with your IFA, where you worked with those guys, and you worked in your grappling and your wrestling. good. But when you go and just focus on wrestling, and then you go and just focus on your karate, man, I get your jiu-jitsu, I get you're doing everything, but there's all these transitional phases and transitional periods that I feel like he didn't spend enough time working on, and they played a factor in his next level performance. Also, performing on that big stage is different, man. Not everyone can do it.
Yep, and then there's the whole mental aspect of it.
Yes, it's one thing when you're doing just spins and flips and holding cool swords and everyone likes how you look, and then it's another thing when you're throwing hands with someone and they have intent to break your face.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Mike Tyson said, man, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Well, yep, one of the most famous quotes, and how true it is.
Right, man. Everyone goes for a knee bar until you hammer fist them twice.
Yep. So, Rookie and Rex, so with that being said, actually we're down the end of the show here, but with the last message here, Rookie, if you said you wanted to be an inspirational speaker, so here's a good opportunity for you. If you had a message for any of the younger kids and other ones that might be struggling with either maybe bullies, or maybe they're struggling with their self-confidence or whatever, what message could you send out to those people or kids that to inspire them?
I want people to always know that you're never alone. Even in like the times where you feel like the most lost or the most darkest times ever, where like you feel there's no hope, or there's nothing you can do, or you can't do that, your confidence is low, everyone around you is telling you, no, you can't do that. You are never alone, ever. You're never alone. And anything that you see someone else do, anything you've seen anyone else do, things like that, you can't define yourself by that. There's nothing no one else can do that you can't do. There's nothing no one else can do that you can't do. And you're never forced to be what someone tells you to be. You're never alone. Do what you need to do and do what you feel you must do. You know to yourself what's right. You're never alone. That's what it comes down to.
That's a good message. Excellent message. Rex, do you have anything to add to that?
No.
I mean, you've seen Rookie grow. You've seen,
Not only that, I've seen Rookie, but the way I grew up, what I've been through in my life, and you can look at life, you can say that everything that happens to you just boo-hoo, bah-ha. Well, I'm the wrong person to tell a sob story to, because I've been there, I've done it. I've been through a lot of shitty things in my life, and I made it through. And if I can, anybody can. Life is perspective. It is. If you have a positive attitude and you have a great attitude, and know that everything happens for a reason, you'll be okay. You really will. It's don't ever turn into that doom and
That's good advice as well there, Rex. I appreciate that. And I know for a fact that sorry, I had switched the audio back on there. But I'm sure that there's some out there that feel that alone side, and I 100% agree with it. It's just a different attitude. Once you get it in your head, it's kind of a switch, Rookie, you mentioned earlier, you kind of, whenever you were coming down off of the prescriptions or whatever for your back and stuff, and you were kind of in a different mind, different frame of mind at that point. But when that switch flipped, it was like, I don't want this anymore. That's not me.
A clarity came through.
Right.
A feeling of missing of what I was and who I knew I am, and realizing that I wasn't who I was meant to be or who I felt I was. I was a shell of a person.
Right.
And in that time, I'll admit I felt alone, of course, but I knew that I wouldn't be alone forever. I know if I did what I needed to do, things would get better. And even if sometimes I had to sit down and close my eyes and just listen to music and envision the future and things getting brighter and better, sometimes I did that.
Right. Well, guys, I really appreciate your time. It was excellent information, excellent interview. I appreciate your promotional aspect there, Rex, and you're a true inspiration there, rookie.
Thank you, sir.
Keep doing what you're doing, and I look forward to seeing you on the big stage one day, and also hopefully we can maybe work something out to get you down here to Mid-Ohio Valley at one of our fights. Nothing else, maybe, we talked about maybe getting Nico down here as a kind of a gym promotion thing here sometime in the future, and Rex and I was kind of talking about that. Maybe we can make a connector thing, and maybe you can come in too. That'd be awesome to meet you face to face.
That'd be awesome, man. Get a seminar going.
Right. All right, guys. Well, you all have a great rest of your Sunday afternoon and a great week, and stay safe and stay out of the corona, man.
I'll do what I can.
Take care.
Stay quarantined. God bless, sir.
Yep, same to you, man.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, there you have it. Rookie Randall and Rex Thompson. And let's see here. Get the audio flipped back over here. There we go. All right. So I appreciate everybody tuning in this evening. Around the world, we got people in the UK, of course, that have been on here a few times, and actually have had a couple people from Afghanistan. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. And next week, Sunday, April 5th, we'll be doing another MMA fighter here, a local MMA fighter, Keisha Dawn. She's actually out of my gym, the Ronin Jiu-Jitsu and MMA here in Parkersburg, West Virginia. She has, we mentioned during this podcast some of the ways that MMA has helped inspire people and has helped with troubled pasts or whatever. And she's got a story to tell us. She's a very, very impressive women's MMA fighter. She's fairly feared here in the Mid-Ohio Valley as one of our top MMA fighters. And like I said, we're going to have her here and see what makes her tick and what she has to tell. So, roll that beautiful bean footage. Hope everybody has a great rest of your Sunday afternoon, and make sure you tune in here each Sunday from 6 p.m. till usually an hour and a half or so. We did an hour and 34 minutes with Rookie and Rex. So y'all have a great Sunday afternoon. Stay safe. Social distancing is the key. Peace out, everybody. Anybody wants stickers, email me your address in the inbox, and I will get them out to you. Have a great week, everybody. Peace out.